Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. Now, whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
Well, good morning, everybody. Wherever you may be, that is the phrase, I guess, that Vince Scully always uses when he introduces himself at the Dodger games. And while I don't proclaim to be Vince Scully in any way, shape, or form, I do want to say good morning and that I'm glad that you're all here to take in another show with us at the Bottle Business Sense show. My partner and I, Rick Moscoso, who's on the other side here today, will be providing you with a very interesting show today. But before we get into that, we wanted to just tell you all that, we're here, as you know, every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. to provide business tips in a number of different areas, principally to keep your business protected and growing. And they're all free, folks, and they're all online for you to listen to whenever you want to. That's the sum and substance of the Bottle Business Sense show, which we started almost a year ago. It'll be a year in June, I think, and I'll have my partner right now confirm that. Good morning, Rick. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, Bill. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, this is episode, I think, 45. So we're coming up on a year.
Coming up on a year, we'll have a little celebration. We'll have to do that, you and I. And without further ado, we really wanted to. I'm going to bring in Rick here in a minute. But we really wanted to talk. We have shows that really sometimes take off of one another and provide subsequent input from shows that maybe we've already broached the subject about. And in this case, we're again talking about social media, social selling of your business, in effect, and ways to do that. And I've been told, Rick, that a couple principal things you really want to do is to keep writing a lot of articles and get in a lot of content, and make sure you keep doing that every week and get it out there. And obviously the content that you're going to be writing about is going to have to necessarily do with the business that you're in or something akin to the business that you're in. So having said that, why don't you tell our viewers, because I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on what is this whole issue about social selling and what does it involve?
Well, thanks, Bill, for the introduction. Yeah, this is We've heard a couple of episodes already where we've included social media topics and that sort of thing. But really, this is a topic that I get all the time. What is social selling? Quite frequently, those of us that are on Facebook, Google Plus, Twitter, we think of those as social media platforms, which they are. They're a way to get your voice out there known. But if you're in business today, you really need to integrate social media to your business by the way of social selling. So whether you're just a casual conversationalist on social media, you really, like I said, you really need to integrate the platforms that are out there like Facebook. But for those of us in business that are really have the type of business that we're connecting with other business owners, that platform is most likely going to be LinkedIn. And so it's not so much anymore is it used for just selling your business, but for example, let's say you have a project that somebody wants to invest in, and you're targeting investors or VCs, that sort of thing. You really need to make sure that your profile on social media, on your specifically your LinkedIn platform, is very, very precise and on cue for that type of audience. Because if you do any type of connecting with them, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to check you out first, and if you don't look like it's going to be worth their time to even entertain a conversation, much less research what you're trying to get them to invest in, then you're going to have a hard time connecting. So LinkedIn's a great place to be doing that. Employees.
I've always found LinkedIn is kind of, Rick, not LinkedIn, but I guess the word social media is kind of deceptive in and of itself, because a lot of these sites that are on social media, like LinkedIn, LinkedIn is essentially, to me, it's a business site. I was speaking to a guy not too long ago at a networking event who told me how to put keywords into your LinkedIn profile. For example, I'm a business attorney. How many times do you have the word business attorney used in your LinkedIn profile? And making some quick revisions like that can really, and to me, that's content. To me, making those revisions can shoot your LinkedIn profile up in the search engine when somebody types in attorney or business attorney pretty quickly. So if our viewers focus in on social media, and maybe would you say it would be fair to divide it into two categories, those that are truly business oriented and those that are simply socially oriented? I know Facebook, for example, can be used for business, but I think it's a little more social than LinkedIn, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. It's Facebook started for kids, basically. Our kids were the first ones on it before even the parents jumped in and logged in. But if you're a business owner, business professional, then absolutely LinkedIn is the place to go to keep yourself informed, make sure that you're relevant. Because when it comes time to make that job transition, or if you're trying to attract prospective employers, then man, that's your online resume right there, and you got to have that sharp. So yeah, I agree. I know, Bill, you do quite a bit of posting on LinkedIn yourself, both regarding this show, regarding your newsletter, anything you can do to keep yourself relevant. And why don't you share with your audience how that's helped boost some of your ratings in LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, to give you a good example, I called a friend of mine the other day, and I said to him, I noticed my LinkedIn profile, it always goes up 5%, down 2%, up 10%, down 7%, up 20%. Well, in the last a few weeks, it had gone down about 35%. In one fell swoop, which was the lowest, actually it was about a 10-day period, the lowest I had ever seen it go down. And the first thing he said to me was, what have you been doing the last 10 days? I said, well, I've been in trial. And he said, have you done any postings? No. And sure enough, as soon as I started posting again in the normal routine that I have, it's right back where it's always been. So those posts mean a lot. They're content oriented. They're in effect selling my business using LinkedIn as a vehicle to do it. So my recommendation would be, if you're on these sites, which you should be, just don't just think you're going to post on there and put your profile on there and it's going to do wonders. You've got to be active on these sites.
Mm-hmm. And what would you recommend? Share with us what you do. What your posting content is that you're sharing with your audience.
Well, in addition to this show and in addition to my newsletter, both of which you mentioned, I will post topics on different areas of my business practice, those being employment law, estate planning, or asset protection. And I found a great little tool to do that. And it's called Snipley, S-N-I-P-L-E-Y, and what you can do is you can actually use an article, because Rick, as well as I, Google loves sharing, right? They love for you to share things.
Oh, yeah.
So you may find an article that you like, and you may want to refer to it and Sniply gives you the ability to put your link and your picture down at the bottom of this article, and indicate in the byline, if you will, that there is more material here to be viewed on this subject and on your own website, and it allows somebody then to click back and go back to your website. And I've used the same kind of principle on LinkedIn, where I'll connect, put on different articles on LinkedIn, have it connect back to my website, and I'll generally post things like bottled protection points, I call them, which are basic 3-4 lines on a particular area of law that I think somebody might need to know about. So between the articles and between the show and the newsletter and these points that I post, all of those things go into the mix to not only improve the aura, if you will, of your LinkedIn presence, but also with the idea that it all can filter back to your website.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, I don't know if you understand what Bill just talked about, but it's an important thing to really understand, and is that these things that he's sharing with his audience aren't authored by Bill. They're actually articles that are out there, maybe some people that he follows or happen to run into some topics that he thought would be of value to his own audience that he linked to, but then also with this tool, with the Sniply tool, gives you the capability to, hey, Bill found it important enough to share this valuable information with his audience that if you want more, then click on Bill's link and it goes back to his website. So you're right. I mean, it's an excellent tool. I just recently learned about it too, just a couple of weeks ago from Bill, and it's a great way to backlink back to your website. And we've talked about backlinking before in a previous episode, so go to the website and take a look at that. But it's a great way.
And I'm sorry, Rick, to interrupt, but it is a great way. And the interesting thing about it is you can share articles and information and content that you don't author, but point it back using that tool, point that article back to your website, to things that you did author, which expound upon or which extrapolate certain ideas from the article that you originally sent out, authored by somebody else. Mm-hmm. So it uniquely ties you in to whoever else wrote the article that you appreciate and think might be of value. And so and I think one of the other points we're trying to get across here is, Rick and I want to share stuff with you guys that don't necessarily have to come from us originally. Anybody who thinks that they only can share things that they author or they write, it's a rather foolish notion, in my personal opinion. We're here to share stuff and help everybody, not just the stuff that we put out. And when Rick mentioned that I don't author these things, with the exception of what's in my newsletter and what comes on the show here, and some of the articles I write on my website, he's speaking specifically of those articles that I go out and find that I think might be of interest to my followers, and then I use the Shipley tool to go ahead and shoot that out to everybody. And that is really social selling your business, isn't it, Rick?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Think about this. Social networking takes up about a quarter of the time that most people spend online, but it reaches more than 75% of all internet users. That's an interesting.
That's astounding.
There. Yeah, that is. Really is. So as you're delving into social selling, really do your homework, okay? Because it's all about creating a relationship. That's the basis of getting a good understanding from your audience to build credibility in you. If you're promoting something, you're sharing something, take time to understand your prospective client and really, what do you find that's most valuable to them that would make you look like an authority in your space. Okay, so it could be to a customer, like we said, an investor, a partner, even a client or a past client, somebody that you've already done business with. So it's all about building a relationship with these people.
And I think it accomplishes two things, Rick. Knowing your client, your customer, your client, whatever you want to call them, suppliers, whatever kind of business you're in, that's going to tell you what kind of social selling you need to do. And then secondarily, when you social sell sharing other information that doesn't necessarily originate from you, what's a client going to think? I mean, picture this. A client, you're my client, and I'm shooting you these things. And, well, Bill made available to me this tip. This is an interesting article written by this guy. Bill made available an article he wrote last week. Boy, this is interesting as well. Aren't you going to think that Bill or whoever's doing it is a little more well-rounded? In other words, he's willing to share information even though maybe he or she didn't author it themselves. Why? Because you have the client's best interest at heart. And that's the first, to me, that's what, if I'm on the receiving end, that's what I'm going to think. Hey, this guy is trying to really help me here. He's not just ingrained into sharing his own personal stuff. He's out there selling his business by using other people to help him sell the business.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Excellent. And before we get into our sponsors spot, I wanted to say one last thing about doing your homework here is that, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, these are all great sites that can give you, as a business owner, key information about your customers. All you have to do is check out their profiles, find out what they're doing, what they like, what their businesses tend to do. It's a great free way to do reconnaissance on what they're doing, what they're all about, and how to approach them as a prospective client. I'm going to give you a really cool tool right now, and it's in the form of a website that will not only show your ranking of your website, but it will can also show you how if you were to type in a competitor's website, you can see where they rank. The Alexa ratings. Alexa is a website ranking globally. You can also see, if they have the data, where their traffic is coming from. And that website is called similarweb.com. So if you go to similarweb.com, type in your own your own URL, and it'll tell you all your rankings, and then show you, if it does have that data, show you where the traffic is coming from primarily, and also will show you where people are jumping off to from your website. And if you go to a popular competitor of yours, you type in their URL, you can see where they're getting their online traffic from, and there's ways, and this is a topic for a future show, there's ways to capture those clients that they've targeted from these traffic sources that are driving online traffic to them. So we'll talk about that in another topic, but it's a great tool to do some undercover work to find out where your competitors' traffic is coming from.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is great stuff. I'm really into this stuff. I really am, and I have been for quite a while. We have a great sponsor, a new sponsor today, and his name is Dave Cashion, Cashion, I believe it's spelled. Rick will give you his information in a minute where you can contact him. But Dave is a mortgage broker, and I actually I work on some cases that involve mortgage brokers, where you have various investments taking place, in especially if they're in different states, because different states have different rules for having mortgage brokers in place. But Dave's the kind of guy who is very unique to the mortgage broker industry, because while he can do the typical mortgage broker loans that from big banks, he can also do private money loans, and one of the private money loans he's able to do is to give somebody maybe a 12-month or a 24-month loan as a business loan, either as a startup or as some cash infusion that they might need into their business. The loan is going to have to be collateralized by real estate, but nevertheless, it is a function that I think is up and coming in the future of our business world, where private loans are going to be made more and more available, and Dave is one of the ones who has been doing that for a while now. But if in any event, if you need to speak to Dave regarding a business loan, a private business loan of a short-term nature, or the typical mortgage loan that you would need to buy residential property, because the business loans obviously have nothing to do with residential property, then please find it. Please find them on the website and at the phone numbers Rick's going to provide here, and give them a call because listen, I've had a number of conversations with them. I'm very impressed. Where can we get a hold of Dave, Rick?
You can reach Dave Cashin at 949-495-6447. His website is KeystoneFinancialServices.com, and the address to Keystone Financial Services is 30262 Crown Valley Parkway, Suite B as in boy, 500, Laguna Niguel, California, 92677. And that's Dave Cashin at Keystone Financial Services.
Great. Thanks very much, Rick. You know, before the break, we were talking about doing your homework and making sure you know who your target audience is for this social selling of your business. But we talked about we talked about originating your own content, Rick, and also using content of others and sharing, which Google loves to see. You need to make sure that that when you're dealing with people within your social network, you build your credibility by being authentic, don't you? You have to make sure that you have to really make sure that you mean what you say, and you say what you mean, and you stay with that target. And if you're going to comment on something, make sure that you have a good understanding of what it is that you're going to put out there, because it's one thing to represent yourself, but when you're using other articles and getting them out there and then commenting on them, you want to make sure that you're on the same page with the person or persons who wrote the article that you're using to begin with, right?
Oh, you know, even more so on social media, it's so important to be authentic, and how you do that is that you got to let your audience know you first. So after they know you, they can make a determination if they like you or not. And if they like you, then over some time, then they'll tend to learn to trust you. So it's a process over time, but it's a great way to do it. And absolutely, you have to be authentic. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, it's easy to make friends, right, when you're authentic. If you went to a dinner party and you walked into the party where you knew the host, right? But a number of other people didn't. Well, you've got instant credibility with the people that wish they knew the host, but didn't. I mean, it's a way to gain authority. It's so important on social media, regardless of what platform, because there's a lot of people out there who may not be fans of yours, at least maybe not yet, that if they see you in any way, shape, or form being inauthentic or unauthentic or whatever the opposite of authentic is, they'll call you out, and they'll call you out hard. So you want to be careful.
I prefer to use disingenuous. Yeah, if you're disingenuous, if you're disingenuous, it's going to be found out fairly quickly. And there's not a more important thing in the world when you're communicating with other people, especially in the area of your business, to find that common thread. Okay, I've never found it particularly exciting to go up to a person and say, "Hey, here's what I do." Normally there'll be a conversation. I'll meet somebody. Maybe the question will arise, but maybe I'm going over and specifically talking to that person because I know that person has an interest in an area or areas that I use or that that's part of my business. So that's what I mean. You're social selling, but using authenticity as the foundation. And I think a lot of times when you're on social media and you're using business sites to sell your business, you've got to know that you've got to target what would be a common thread for people in whatever it is that you're writing about, whatever content that you're putting out there. And I think if you do that, you're going to be ahead of the game. Don't just go on there and say, gee, I'm at In-N-Out Burger having a double with a vanilla shake, and then a half an hour later I'm at home watching Breaking Bad or whatever. That's fine for kids, but that's not the way business should be sold in today's world using quote unquote social media.
That's right. I mean, the purpose of this discussion today is learning how to use social media to deepen your relationships that you have with your audience or potential audience out there. It's it's really the foundation, and I know you'd agree. This is really the foundation of selling anything, and without that credibility or any type of relationship, you're going to have a tough time promoting yourself online. And whether it's online or offline, the process is the same. It's just a matter of how you do it, right? People got to know. Right. People have got to learn to trust you, and you've got to be authentic out there, and you've got to find a way to deliver value. I mean, Bill's a great testament to that because the Bottle Business Sense newsletter that he offers to his audience, as well as sharing all of these valuable topics that he does through his Sniply tool, that creates a great sense of value and also credibility because he's sharing valuable things that are coming from other people that he respects, which in turn.
That's right.
The hope is that they'll do the same if they find value information coming from you as well, right?
That's right. I agree, Rick. And again, going back to if you want your website to improve on Google, if you want to become more and more authoritative on whatever it is you do, there's no better marketing tool than content marketing. You can publish things in magazines, you can go on radio shows, you can publish newsletters, you can go on LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever site you want to pick out, and you are putting content on there for all to see. And if you can put authoritative content, authentic content, something that relates to your business, and you've got certain people that you market to on these sites, then content marketing to me, basically what I do is I do content marketing and I do networking events, and from those things and from referrals from clients that I already have, that's where the bulk of my business goes. So I spend a lot of time doing content marketing. I don't advertise in the phone books. I don't take out ads in newspapers. I don't do any of those things. And I think you'll find in today's world, even the larger firms that practice law and do other businesses as well, they don't do that as much either. You very rarely see that anymore. So content is everything, and I got to believe that I'm enough of a wizard on that now that I can say that, and I know Rick will agree, right, Rick?
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. Let me read a stat for you here. If you learn to nurture your relationships really well, like large companies do, the strategy in general will generate about 40% more qualified leads than actually cold calling. And who loves to cold call out there? I certainly don't. And so, get in the habit of doing this because it allows you to build genuine connections with your audience. Because they found that companies that excel in lead nurturing generation campaigns will generate 50% more sales-ready leads at 33% lower the cost. So if you create that relationship first by doing your homework, by being authentic, by nurturing these relationships, you can actually do more business at a much lower cost and for a longer time because you've done it the correct way.
Right, and that's an amazing piece of information. When you think about it, when you look at content marketing, you have all these different tools you can use it for, or use it as a vehicle to get out there, right? Let's mention quickly of some of the ones we've just talked about. You got the newsletter you can put out. You got a radio show you can do. Look, we don't profess to be Howard Stern here, right? We're on Blog Talk Radio, and we're very proud of it because we have some content that we want to give our viewers and listeners. But other people can start a Blog Talk Radio show. So newsletter, Blog Talk Radio, you're on LinkedIn publishing articles or other business sites, you're on your website publishing articles, right? You're doing videos with Rick, and those videos are out there on YouTube or Vimeo or on your sites. That's content goes into videos. You do podcasts, right? You can do audio podcasts, put those on your websites, shoot them out to people. I can't speak enough about content marketing and how I think it's taken over the world of advertising. And the beauty about it is you can do a lot of it right in your own office from your own computer, right, Rick?
Yeah, absolutely. From your own computer or at home, mostly in general, it's all for free. So why not take advantage of it? It may take a little bit more time to get ramped up and get started, but in the end, it's well worth it. And we have just to kind of wrap up here and summarize, we have a few tips on how you can invest yourself in social selling and
fantastic.
What to do. Yeah, and what to do. And really, the biggest tip that I can give is really take it slow. Take baby steps. In other words, we tend to look at all the different social platforms out there and want to be present on all of them. Well, if you have the time and resources and the expertise to do it, then go for it. But if you want to become an expert in, or at least be really good at in one social platform space, then pick one that's most sensible to attract the type of clients that you are trying to market to. So if, for Bill, he's a business attorney, right? So most of his time socially selling is done on LinkedIn, although he uses other platforms as well. But that's the... And
I use a lot of legal sites too, Rick, and I don't mean to interject, but that's a great point you're making. Very important. When Rick says don't be on all these other legal sites just because they're there, pick out the sites that are unique to your profession. You can go and you can Google. You're a construction worker. You can Google construction sites, lawyer sites, doctor sites, dentist sites. You can Google these different things and find those social sites that are particularized, if I can say that word, toward your business, right, Rick? I mean, that's everything.
That's a great point. And you know what? Use that tool that I gave you, that URL, similarweb.com, because when you type in a competitor's website URL in that space, it will, if there's enough data on that competitor, it will show you where they're getting traffic from. And if it's from a say you're a florist or something, a high-end florist, or whatever it happens to be, and they're advertising in home and garden, the site will show you where the bulk of their traffic is coming from. So follow it gives you a pretty good indication that, geez, maybe I should be in that same advertising space as them, because look how much traffic is coming from just that one site back to them in the form of traffic to the website. So check it out. I mean, it's really good, and it'll help you a lot. But to get started, pick one. Pick one that's relevant to your business. And that way it'll give you a way to show results. It's measurable. There's only one thing to follow. And it doesn't always have to convert into sales, although we all want it to convert to a sale. It could just, at this point, convert to a connection, a positive connection, whether it's in the form of a lead. You can always market to that lead or market to that portion of your database, because at some point, if they find yourself offering the type of value that they're looking for, over time they could well convert into a sale. So keep that in mind. Also, have your ear to the ground on what's going on in your market space. Right? And a good way to do that is to use the similarweb.com website, or keep in touch with your professional associations. Like Bill mentioned, he's a member on AVO, avvo.com, right? And that's an attorney site, right, Bill? That ranks attorneys. It also allows clients to rank attorneys.
Right.
That sort of thing. So you can find out what competitors are doing in all these types of resource sites that will help you with your competitive strategy. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah, and whatever you do in these spaces, make sure you keep track so you can show the types of results that you're doing. So if you need to adjust, then and the data points to that, then you can do it quickly without spending a whole lot more time on a strategy that may not be quite working or quite converting very well with you.
And without spending a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about minimizing the cost, right? Always be looking out for new connections. LinkedIn is a great place to do it. These forums that you may subscribe to are a great way to do it. I'm going to give you an example. I had a friend here in Rancho Santa Margarita who joined a Facebook business group a couple of months ago. And literally he's probably a day or two into it, and he sees a request from someone in that business group looking for a videographer, someone to do a branding video for them. So I wasn't part of it yet, but he dropped my name in there and then told me that, hey, I put your name up on this business site. I don't know if anything's going to come of it, but we'll see. So 2 days later, I get a call from a gal in Newport Beach, and she's looking for somebody to do a branding video for her website and for this mom entrepreneur contest. So I asked her how she got to me, because I'm always curious how somebody I don't know how they got to me, and she says, "Oh, I got a referral from a friend," and she told me the gal's name, but it didn't connect with me. So a week later, after we agreed to do the work for her, I asked her again, "How did you find me?" She told me who that was, and I started to connect the dots that she was also from Rancho Santa Margarita. She happened to be part of this business group on Facebook, and that's how she got my referral from a guy in my networking group who posted my name on that site, who connected with this other business person who happened to be part of that group in Rancho Santa Margarita that was a friend of this gal in Newport Beach. So it's funny how that all works, how it kind of circles around in a long way. But the moral of the story is find different ways to make connections, whether it's a focus group or a I forget what they call it on LinkedIn, but there's groups that you can subscribe to in LinkedIn that are either looking for answers, looking for solutions, that sort of thing. Subscribe to those groups that are relevant to your business.
That's right.
And contribute. Contribute to those groups, because you may end up standing out as the expert in that group because of the contributions that you're making. So that's a valuable thing, and I know Bill does a really good job at doing that as well.
Rick's given you a wealth of information here today, folks. I think to pick up and run with. So please do so, because he's really pointing you down the right road. He's telling you how to make sure you're selling your business online, and while it may be typically referred to as social media, there's much more to it than just a plain social interaction. You have a targeted audience, you have content that's targeted to that audience, and you're going for it, and you're not just there to talk about the weather. So,
a couple last tips here, and then we'll wrap. And we've talked about these before, but I think they're very important to bring up again, because anytime we talk about social media or online presence, we always talk about these things. And that is, make sure it's high value, make sure it's meaningful, make sure that you always have some sort of call to action, whether it's just your phone number, your website, an email, a contact, something that you want them to do if they like your stuff. because you never know, that could lead up to the next meeting. That could lead up to your next high-end client. You just never know. So always include a good call to action. And most importantly, and I know Bill will attest to this, is that you need to have a schedule and be consistent. Because if you have a lollipop attitude about I'll do it here, maybe I'll get back to it tomorrow. If you have that type of attitude to social selling, it ain't gonna work, right, Bill?
Yep, you're absolutely right, Rick. Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thank you again, Rick, for today. I think it was a great show with a lot of beneficial tips for our listeners and our viewers, and I hope they all take advantage of it. I'm sure they will. Folks, again, we're here to help in any way we can. Please feel free to call us if you need to. We're here to. You don't have to feel like, if I've got to call these guys, I'm going to have to retain them. We're here to help you in any way we can. If our retention is in the cards and you feel it's something worth your while, then we wouldn't be happier. But we're also here to give a consultation and to be able to help you if you need to put the feelers out and see what it is, what direction, what road you're trying to go down. If you're in need of some direction. From a legal perspective or from a marketing perspective, we're both here to try to help in any way we can. So, having said that, Rick, thanks again for the great show. I'm looking forward to our show next week, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until then, I hope, as always, our viewers and our listeners have a very prosperous week in their business. And keep it moving and keep that ship moving. And we'll be here to help you every Tuesday. Rick? Right, Rick?
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us again, folks. We're Bill and Rick here at the Bottled Business Sense Show, and thanks for joining us. We will see you again here at 10 a.m. next Tuesday, bright and early.
At bottledbusinesssense.com. Take care, everybody.
All right. Take care.